Hello and welcome to another Polypedia online tutorial. I'm Mishly. In this tutorial we are going to use simple metal washers and other findings and turn them into fancy elements for your jewelry and beads. For the project we will need a heating gun. This is not a hair dryer. This tool reaches a very high temperature and produces almost no air. We will use embossing stamp, embossing powders in all kinds of colors, textures, or patterns, and your metal findings. We will start with the embossing stamp and stamp our metal washers. The embossing stamp is sticky and it assures a good bond between the powder and the metal. Apply your embossing powder with a teaspoon and shake off the excess powder. Next, we will use our heating gun to cure and set the embossing powder. This process may take a minute, depending on your project size or the type of powder. I'm going in rounds to make sure the powder will not burn. After completing one side, you can repeat with the other side. Be careful, the metal may be hot. Once again, using the embossing stamp, the embossing powder, shaking off the excess, and repeating, curing the powder with the heating gun. Next, we will use a metal heart charm. This time we will use a different powder, a thin golden powder. The process is similar. I'm placing the metal finding in the embossing stamp and then using tweezers to hold the charm. This is the golden powder, and if you use tweezers, you can cover both sides at the same time. The heating gun is melting the powder, liquefying it. The powder turns into a complete cover on top of the metal. Hold the charm far enough from the heating gun and cure. The tweezers may get hot as well, so be careful. As you can see, this side is covered in gold and the other one is silver. Here are additional metal loops I found in the finding store. They are much thinner and will hold less embossing powder amount, but still you can paint them with your favorite embossing powder color. This is a white powder. I repeated the same steps of using the stamp and then applying the powder, shaking off the excess. You can choose if you want them to be double-sided or just a single side. And curing them all with a heating gun. Here is one option to embellish your jewelry with your decorated colorful findings. In this case, I'm using my INKredible technique earrings, and instead of using a silver colored washer, you can color your findings with endless colors and embossing powders and create a very unique look on your jewelry. I've used very small washers in this case and just adding them to the jump rings on the earrings. For more information on the INKredible technique, please refer to the video description. Another option to decorate your colored findings is to paint them with permanent markers. In this case, I am using a colored white metal loop with a black marker, painting lines all around. If you have a bigger surface, then you can use your metal finding and the white embossing powder as your canvas. And here they are once again, decorating my INKredible technique earrings. Here are some metal findings I used with different embossing powders. The metal findings are being stacked one on the other to create a layered bead or a brooch. I am using liquid polymer clay between the layers. This is the back side of the findings. It is silvery, while the other side is stamped with embossing powder. Once the layers are placed, I am using small baby's breath flowers as a decorative center element. The wire is being folded on the back side, and then it will be covered with polymer clay. Placing a sheet of black polymer clay, medium to thick thickness, and cutting around. You can use a scalpel, X-Acto knife, or just a simple blade. We will fine-tune these cuts later. Now adding a texture. Placing the brooch on a sanding paper, and if necessary, recut the edges. I am placing the piece on white paper to avoid it from sticking to the tile. Cutting all around, smoothing with my fingers later, and then it is ready for curing. Another project you can use your faux enamel findings is creating flat rounded stone beads. For this, I am mixing white clay with black embossing powder. This will create a beautiful granite effect in the clay. You can mix the clay with your fingers or use the pasta machine. When ready, form a ball and flatten it with your fingers. Rounding the edges. You don't have to create a rounded shape. It can be organic, just any shape you like. Oval, teardrop, whatever you choose. To give our bead a nice texture, I'm using a texturing sponge, texturing both back side and the front side. Once again, I'm using white paper to avoid the clay from sticking to my tile. Just before we add our findings, we want to decorate a sheet of clay with stencil pattern. I took a thin sheet of gold clay, rolled it in the pasta machine. These are my stencils. I call them quick silkscreen because you can easily create a pattern with these stencils. Use soft chalks or pastels and with a makeup sponge apply on the stencil. In this case, I chose black chalk. The open areas of the stencil will color the clay, creating a beautiful pattern similar to fabric. You can reuse these stencils as many times as you want. All you should do is just wash them. They come with a sticky back, so you can use this option or you can neutralize the stickiness. A link to the store with the stencils will be included in the description of the video. You can use several shades or colors when using your sponge and chalks. When finished, slowly peel off to release the stencil. Make sure you clean your fingers from the black chalk. Here are our washers. They can either have a different color on each side, or they can be blank on one side, the one that is facing the polymer clay bead. And here are the narrow ones. Take your bead and choose your favorite combination. Then use cutters that fit your washer's inside space and cut a piece from the painted pattern. place on the bead and attach with a sponge. It's better not to touch it with your fingers or the chalk may rub off. Now add liquid clay around. You can either place the liquid on the washer itself or on the clay. And then add the washer, pressing it into the clay. Now it is ready for baking. Bake your beads according to manufacturer instructions. That's it! We have completed the projects. I hope you enjoyed this video class, and you are welcome to join Polypedia online mailing list or to check the other tutorials offered in the video description links, as well as the stencils. Good luck, and thank you very much for watching. See you!